welcome to the At Leisure Podcast. This is a show about sports, video games, movies, and just basically the things we do with our leisure time. My name is Brett, and Ashton is out with the flu on only the second podcast, and I think it's just because he couldn't face the music after his Utah pick. However, we have a couple of more than capable fill-ins this week. Will and Jacob, introduce yourselves and what you're about. So, Jacob, you start.
Well, I'm Jacob Pierce. I've known Brett now for, oh my gosh, like 6-7 years, it seems. I'm an avid football fan, avid basketball fan. College sports runs in the family. My little sister is a D1 athlete, so in basketball. So I kept up with her. She played Division I basketball. Can you not hear me?
No, I can hear you. Your claim to fame is that your sister plays sports. Yeah. It's just really funny.
Hey, that's my claim to fame. I'm 5'8", didn't get anywhere with it. So I live vicariously through her.
Through your sister.
But I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, so I'll leave it at that.
All right, yeah, I'm Will, a longtime listener, first-time caller. My claim to fame is that I know Jacob, and Jacob's sister is a D1 athlete. No. I love sports. I particularly am a fan of the NFL and European soccer. Other than that, I am the commissioner of the greatest fantasy football league known to man. Well, not quite known to man yet, but it will be.
But you're not a Cowboys fan?
That's totally true.
And I was obviously a Cowboys fan.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I said credentials. That's not really good credentials. So
true.
But anyways, we're all Cowboys fans here, unfortunately. Yeah. All right, well, I know y'all are more NFL fans, so I teased last week that we would talk about college football, so we definitely got to talk some college football. But after that, we'll get into some NFL and some fantasy stuff and just kind of the random things at the end. But and we're going to review Prey. We're going to review the movie Prey. If y'all haven't seen that, we'll do a non-spoiler review and then spoiler review at the end. So we'll get to that. Will's got a stank face, so there's a little preview.
Amazing movie.
It's
there we go. We're gonna have some contrast.
We all have different.
So I'll put a timestamp in there, and if you want to listen to just that, you can just skip to that timestamp. So skip the sports. I know some people last week. I got some feedback that was like, "Hey, I was here for sports, and you started the podcast with How to Train Your Dragon 2." So we're still working on the format, so we'll get better as we go. Dude, all right, let's get into college football week 1. Before we do that though, news: they're expanding the playoffs. Have y'all heard that?
Yes, that is the thing that is going to make me a college football fan, I think.
Heck yes, dude! I am so excited. This seems like such a no-brainer. There's no reason they shouldn't have already done this.
Yeah.
The biggest argument was like, it'll make college games less important. That's total bullcrap. Some people now are going to be playing for something when before they were just playing for a meaningless bowl game. Maybe get into New Year's Six, which I liked, but a lot of people they just didn't care.
Yeah, like all the years Central Florida was going off and never got a shot.
Hey, 2011 national champions.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Self-proclaimed.
What are they expanding it to? 6 games?
12 teams. So they'll have 6 teams that automatically get in as the conference champions, and then 6 at-large bids. So
I'm a fan.
It's going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to make the games so much more meaningful.
All those Michigan fans out there are like, finally, we can make it.
Yeah.
Michigan was in the playoffs last year.
I know, unfortunately. They're always ranked. I could go on and on about Michigan and how they're overrated, just like UT.
Well, we talked about it last podcast. I think Miami is the UT of the ACC. So agreed. I guess you think Michigan is the Big Ten?
Dude,
Texas?
Yes.
That's fine.
They have a bunch of no names, and they're always like in the top 10 at the beginning of the year, and their schedule's always
bunch of no names, Jacob.
Yeah.
Literally, their best player was picked second in the draft last year.
Who?
You know that, right?
Who?
Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh,
yeah, that no name guy. Okay, well, let's just get into this. Did y'all watch the Thursday game? It was kind of the highlight of the week for me.
Which game was Thursday, just to clear it up?
It is the backyard brawl, West Virginia versus Pitt.
I did not watch it.
Do y'all know anything?
not about what happened. Honestly, I was at a sports bar while it was on.
Okay.
I did not know what was going on.
Yeah, no, this rivalry was huge back in the day. West Virginia still sings about Pitt in their songs. So every time they would, have you heard Sweet Caroline? You've heard Sweet Caroline.
Of course.
They, in the chorus part, they would say "Eat S Pitt" every time, and so that's how like ingrained this rivalry is. And I've only seen it in 2011, which was so long ago, and they finally are bringing it back. And this game lived up to everything that it was supposed to be. It was awesome. Great time. It honestly, I saw the stat. It was officially the largest crowd for any Pittsburgh sports event in history with 70,622 attendees. So, yeah, big deal. In any sport, yeah. I guess
That's
the
insane.
Steelers Stadium is not big enough, or
Yeah,
maybe
huh.
it's never had that many people in it at a time. But it's crazy. And the game was awesome. It was loud. Oh man, dude, college football is back. I'm so excited. I wish y'all loved college football. It is
I'm
the
working on it.
best. The pageantry, the tradition. Every Saturday, you have so many options to watch football, and there's crazy stuff happening 24/7. Like at the end of when this game ended, I switched it over to the Purdue game, and there was immediate pick six, and I was like, heck yes! Oh, Purdue Stadium's going crazy, and I was just like, I missed this. I missed this.
I will say your take last week about how there's a lawyer playing a future Hall of Famer, that got me a little hyped. I got goosebumps when you were saying that. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, okay, I can get behind that. But
It's so cool. There's so many underdogs. But
Brett, I did see.
hey, I'll bring y'all over.
I did see that pick six. He threw up at the end of that, right?
Yeah, no, the guy blocking for him threw up.
Oh, he
The
did.
guy was fine, but the guy who was
What?
blocking for him threw up. Yes, and they put the camera on him, and he just puked all over, and they quickly shot away. They're like, "Oh
that's
no!"
amazing. That's great.
Wasn't Purdue ranked pretty high last year, or is that basketball that I'm thinking of?
No, it was Wake Forest. Wake Forest was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of a Big 12 guy, so the ACC I got to refresh my memory again. So
now, what's the deal with that Manning kid at UT? Is he going to play this year, or is he in the back burner until next year? I've heard a couple of things.
Bro, you're throwing a left field right now. But
am I?
No, he's not. Yeah, he's he's not even on the campus yet. He's just committed to him.
Oh, okay, cool.
Quentin Ewers is their quarterback right now.
Nice. So, I'm excited for him though.
No.
Really big for their school.
Oh, Texas. I mean, look, I was trying to go a Texas-free podcast here, Jacob. I might cut all this out. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. No, Ashton's not here. I don't want to talk about Texas. I want to talk about this West Virginia Pitt game. The whole time I was watching it, I was thinking, wow, all these players are rusty. Their receivers were dropping. They were dropping every pass to him, left and right. Pitt their play action was rolling in the second half. And my favorite part of this game was how hard they were hitting each other. Like the contact was ridiculous. There was a time where they had how they bring in a referee specialist and they're like, hey, talk to us about how this play went. And one of his things was, I quoted it. He said, "It's not a foul to clothesline an opponent." And I thought, oh, that's where we're at. That's where we're at in this game. It is not a foul to clothesline an opponent.
In the NFL, that would have been called no problem.
I know, but in this game, it was just like, it was brutal. I loved it. The physicality. These teams hated each other. They were playing for their fan bases. It was so good. Do y'all know how it ended?
No.
So West Virginia has their best receiver, Bryce Ford Wheaton, had 2 touchdowns. He had almost 100 receiving yards, and West Virginia was driving to tie the game or to win the game. Actually, I think the 2 quarterbacks were transfers from USC, so that was a big storyline. ESPN kept pushing that on us. Yeah, but it was kind of cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see like they knew each other. They'd played on the same team, and they had both been like leftovers from USC. They both played great, honestly. Keaton Slovis, JT Daniels, both played amazing. It was part of what made this game so great. But JT Daniels threw a bullet to that Bryce Ford Wheaton, and it bounced off of his chest, went up. The Pitt defender caught an interception, ran back for a touchdown, and that's how they won.
Okay, I did see that.
That was how they got ahead. West Virginia had another drive to win it, and on 4th and it was close to the goal line. On 4th down, they threw a deep pass, and the receiver caught the ball at the 1-yard line. and they were running up to play it, and they reviewed it, and they called it no catch.
Oh,
So I don't think it was a catch, but it was so cool. I wish they would have let it be a catch so that we could have got more of that game. It was awesome. It was awesome. Heartbreaking. Yeah, I know some West Virginia fans. They were distraught. Hopefully, though, they'll get another chance sometime soon. Like, hopefully this will become more of a regular thing, and they'll bring the rivalry back because it was awesome television. But yeah, that Purdue game was good. Penn State, Purdue, and Penn State ended up winning that game.
They did
35-31.
Dang.
Yeah. But golly, that was another good game that we watched to the end. So, dude, it was bangers. Oklahoma State, Central Michigan is another one since we kind of covered the Big 12. Oklahoma State last year had one of the best defenses in college football, and they let Central Michigan hang 44 on them. A lot of that was in the second half with backups, but that would have never happened last year. So I'm a little down on Oklahoma State more after that game than I was beforehand. Y'all got anything to say about those games? I don't guess y'all watched them.
Nope, got nothing for you.
Yeah, I only
all right.
Well, the UTSA, Houston, and Utah, Florida.
Okay, well we'll definitely have you talk about those when I get to them. So we'll just jump into Saturday. Have y'all heard about Iowa's football game? Absolutely gross. We should launch Iowa's football program into the sun. It was terrible. Yes. So Iowa scored 7 points, and they did it by a field goal and 2 safeties, and they won 7-3.
What a disaster!
That was the game.
But like, wow,
that is the antithesis of Iowa football. Literally. So there's this crazy stat. In the past 7 games, their quarterback has 1 touchdown pass and 8 interceptions.
Whoa, that's bad.
In 6 of 8 Big Ten games last year, he threw for 0 touchdowns. And you know how many games they won last year? 10.
How?
How?
Defense?
Exactly. Defense. What they do is they just run the ball, eat up the clock, kick a field goal. Then they get a stop on defense. Then they do the same thing again. And then they kick a field goal. It's the worst way to watch football.
So I
hate Iowa football.
Despite the poor quarterback play.
Yeah, despite the terrible offense.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Well,
if you ever feel like you have imposter syndrome, just see Iowa State's offensive coordinator and think, at least I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Well, they've produced some amazing tight ends, right? So they produced Hawkinson, Freiermuth, and who else over the years? Like, didn't Heath Miller go to Iowa?
No, they do. I think that is their claim to fame is their tight ends. Yeah. It's because they play bruiser ball. They'll do the play action where they bust the tight end after he's been driving people into the ground for the past 15 plays. So,
yeah.
Where did George Kittle go? Did he go to Iowa?
I think he might have gone to Iowa.
Now I'm like really curious.
But other than
y'all saw, their quarterbacks are trash. CJ Beathard was the last good one, and he played a little bit for the 49ers, and I don't know if he's still in the pros. So,
he did go to Iowa. Dang, I'm good.
Look at that.
3 tight ends.
Tying it in the NFL. All right. Did y'all see the App State North Carolina game?
No, North Carolina won.
I saw highlights of that one.
App State scored 6 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and lost the football game.
That is insane.
40 points.
No defense. Felt like the old Big 12 days.
Yeah, that's my problem with a lot of, I guess college football. The college football I grew up watching was Big 12 because my parents went to Baylor. So I watched those games. And that's my problem with college football is that games end in that, 60-60. It looks like a college basketball score. Yet, no, sure enough, it's the NFL. Obviously, you get some exciting plays that way, or college football.
Oh, man. It was absolutely insane. And it sucks, too, because you're like, it's just whoever has the ball last. Right. But App State did miss a 2-point conversion at the end.
Yeah.
And
they got laid out on that onside kick.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, they did.
That was amazing.
Man.
Well,
I had you send me that video.
Yeah. Do what?
The Alabama-Utah State game was close.
Yeah. True.
0 for Utah State. 55-0.
Jacob, stay on topic, bro.
I'm gonna go game by game.
We're go game by game here. That game had nothing to do with this game.
I know. I was just thinking like close games. What happened?
Alabama was not a close game. Utah State got throttled.
I know. So
And to counter your point, I think college football needs to take away the rule where after every first down the clock stops.
Yes.
They need to take it away.
Agreed.
I don't want them to take away all the way because it adds so much to the end of games. I want them to leave it in for the last 2 minutes of every quarter.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think that would cut the games down some, and you would feel like you were watching better defense. But I'm telling you, they play good defense in college. It is not that they don't. It's just that the rules are so heavily favored to the offense.
Right.
Now, I will say that App State North Carolina game, bad example. Terrible defense. There is still terrible defense, but it's not every game. Like if you give college football a chance, you'll see some really good defense, especially Big Ten, SEC. Obviously there. Although Big 12 last year had the second best defensive stats and all. I think it might have even been number one. I don't know. They've turned it around. So, all right, we'll move on to Texas A&M just because we're kind of a Texas podcast. I don't have much to say other than Texas A&M looked kind of bad at the beginning. Their O-line looked really young. I think they'll get better as they go, but they weren't very good at the beginning.
Who does A&M have that makes them ranked 6th?
They have lots of high recruits. Now, you're talking to a guy who's not an A&M specialist. They have a running back named A-Chain. He's a world-class athlete, super fast. Their line and all of their defensive players, their defense is really good. It's made up of players I don't know, but you will hear their names called on draft day soon, if not next year.
Right.
They're all just high star recruits. But that's why they're ranked 6th. They really haven't proven it. They've had a lot of 9 and 10 win seasons the last few years, but they always seem to drop one to Mississippi State or, and that's what keeps them out of the playoffs. It's kind of like their shtick. But
right. Yeah.
This year, they're always saying this year's their year, and I don't believe it this year because they don't have a quarterback. Their guy is Haynes King right now. He threw 2 interceptions at the beginning of this game. Safeties, he wasn't seeing the safeties. It's a little worrisome if I was an A&M fan, and I'm around a bunch of A&M fans, so they are worried. But there was a 3-hour delay at halftime, and so that stadium emptied, and then the second half was just garbage time, and they played. Apparently, they played a lot better, but I didn't get to see it. Wasn't on TV. We'll move on to the NC State ECU game. Did y'all see that one at all? That was another really close one, and I felt terrible for their kicker. Their kicker missed an extra point to tie the game after their offense had tied the game.
I did see that.
Yes. NC State's ranked 13. ECU is a group of 5 team. They have no business with being with these guys. They should have been tied, and that kicker missed it. Yeah. And then the kicker had a redemption chance.
And he missed again.
Yes, he missed again. It was 41 yards. That poor kicker. I felt so bad for him. I was sick to my stomach for him. He's going to be known
show up to class the next day.
Rest of his life. No, he might. If people are close to him, they really need to reach out and let them know that they love him. Because he's going to be getting it.
Yeah, for sure.
Ugh. So I feel bad for him, but NC State survives. The ACC needs to stop playing these stupid away games. They're killing their rep early. Yeah. They're playing away games, and they're nearly lost. Virginia Tech did lose to Old Dominion. It's you're ending your season before it even starts. But they squeaked out. They got lucky.
Yeah.
NC State survived. And then Oregon versus Georgia. I think y'all watched some of that. That was a marquee game, unfortunately.
I stuck with that game for way too long. That was an absolute slaughtering. Oregon could not do anything. Georgia, I think they went 9 for 9 on third down conversions whenever I changed the channel or something like that.
I think they scored on every possession.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Georgia was just clearly better. And Bo Nix, terrible quarterback. He's not good. And he dug him in a hole with 2 interceptions almost immediately. Mm-hmm. And it's there's a reason he's still playing in college. Why? I don't know why Oregon was so excited to get him, but he looked bad as usual. Then we got Cincinnati, Arkansas. That game was fun. That game was good. I thought Arkansas had a chance to put them away in the first half, and they didn't. Yeah. And then Cincinnati came back and made it a game. Mm-hmm. I would say both teams look pretty similar to last year. I don't know if these are two teams that are really good or 2 teams that are below average, but played each other very well.
Right.
I think we'll still have to see. Cincinnati, brutal penalties at the end of the game cost them. They scored a touchdown to tie it, and they got it called back. So, both of those teams could be good. Both of them could be bad. We just don't really know, but it was a good game when they played. So.
Yeah, so being a new college football fan as of yesterday, I'm trying to choose a team in every conference,
Oh, yeah.
So Arkansas is my SEC team because my grandpa played basketball for Arkansas. So
that
I was
seems
pulling
like
for
a
him.
good reason than ever.
Yeah. As good of a reason as Jacob's claim to fame being his sister.
I might say a better reason.
Yeah, maybe so.
I'll stick with it.
Okay, Arkansas. I can get behind that. At least you're not jumping on the Alabama, Georgia bandwagon.
Yeah, no way.
So there you go.
Well, I don't understand how Cincinnati's rating is so low since they were in the top 4 last year and got into the playoffs.
They lost 9 players to the NFL.
Dang. And they lost their quarterback too, right? He went to the Falcons.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter. Yep. So they're only ranked because of them being in the playoffs last year. Otherwise, they'd be a group of 5. They'd be out. Although they're going to the Big 12 next year. So, or not next year. Well, maybe next year. Soon. They're coming to the Big 12 soon.
No, I just feel like Arkansas as well. They've always been kind of a letdown. Like in every single year they played like 1 or 2
since we've been alive.
Yeah, they've always played 1 or 2 big games that they needed to win, and they haven't been able to do so.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how they do this year.
Yeah, their quarterback looked pretty good. He looked better than last year, and just a little bit better than last year. So, and sometimes that's all you need because they were on the verge They played some good games last year. All right, let's go on to Houston versus UTSA. I didn't get to watch this because it was on CBS Sports Network. I don't get that. Jacob, you got to watch it?
Oh, guys, this game. I know you were talking a lot about, Pittsburgh and West Virginia, but oh my gosh, this game was amazing. Like 3 overtimes, went down to the last play. It was literally Clayton Tune did a flip over a few defenders to get into the end zone. Do you guys remember that Cincinnati Bengals player that jumped over from like the 5-yard line into the end zone 6 years ago?
Simpson, I think.
What?
Was it AJ Green?
No.
It's Jerome Simpson.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Clayton Tune did the same exact thing.
Yeah,
now,
it was amazing.
For UTSA having the football program that they have, for them to take it to 3 overtimes, it was amazing. Like each play was perfect. The UTSA kicker hit 2 field goals that really got them into the position it needed to be in. Again, it just came down to the last play. But again, this goes back to what you were talking about at the very beginning, Brett, with like stopping the clock on first down. This game would have been far from over if it didn't have the stoppage on first down. Like, because they threw the pass, UTSA threw the pass for the first down to get an extra 25 yards to get them into field goal range, and then the clock stopped with 3 seconds left. So they were able to get it to the line, spike the ball with 1. So I don't really agree with that rule for college football, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So you're saying UTSA would have won?
No, I'm saying UTSA would have lost if that didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, that allowed them to kick the field goal to tie it to take them into the first overtime.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
First of all, you said it was the same exact thing as Jerome Simpson. That's absolutely false. Jerome Simpson landed on his feet. You can't take that away from him.
No, I can't. But for Clayton Tune, a quarterback, to do that, it's impressive.
Yeah. It was impressive.
The stats for both of these teams looked incredible. Were the quarterbacks as good as advertised?
From the highlights that I saw from Clayton Tune during the game, and then also what I watched, he's great. I think he's going to do amazing things at Houston. I mean, again, Houston was 12-2 last year. I don't remember if they had Clayton Tune then, but they won the Birmingham Bowl. And so they've been really good the past few years. I know 6 years ago, they almost had an undefeated record.
You're talking about Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston.
Yeah. Clayton Tune, he's been there a long time.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I didn't know for sure how long he's been there or if he was, but he sounds familiar.
I think he's
didn't
a fifth-year senior.
Research. He's probably going to do something with that because he was fantastic. Darts.
Yeah, I know about Clayton Tune. I was wondering, I guess, more about Frank Harris. Because he's got 337 yards. He averaged 7.8 per pass, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Like, was he like, do you think he'll transfer to a bigger school next year?
So, I don't know. Him being from UTSA, it's very tough just because it's UTSA. Like, I don't know their school schedule. I don't know.
I know. Did he look better than a UTSA quarterback? Is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Like, do you think he will transfer out? Like, was he balling out, or were those stats kind of inflated because the defense was bad?
No, he was balling out. Like, he was doing very well.
Okay.
He's a left-handed quarterback. He can do a lot. I don't
Also
know.
had 8 carries for 63 yards.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That dude sounds like he might be the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a couple of 2-point conversions that kept them in the game for UTSA. So I wish they won. I was rooting for him.
So this just shows how much of a novice, maybe I wouldn't even call myself that actually, but I did not realize that the overtime rules had changed to where after 2 overtime periods, it goes to just 2-point conversions back and forth.
I didn't realize that either.
It's pretty new. I think this is the second year they're doing it.
Okay. Because I was like watching it and I was like, wait, they just got a 2-point conversion. Why is UTSA now trying for a 2-point conversion?
You're telling me that the announcers didn't like spell out the overtime rules for you? I feel like they do that every time.
I switched to that game literally
Okay.
on that last play.
Okay. Yeah.
I saw the Houston quarterback do his little flip, and then they went to do the 2-point conversion for UTSA, and I was like, wait a second. I missed something, but
I had the Cincinnati Arkansas game up and the Oregon Georgia State game up, and I was like, golly, I wish I could make this Oregon Georgia game the Houston UTSA game.
Yeah.
I knew that game was going to be good. I even sent that to y'all as one to watch.
You did.
I was like, this is going to be a good game, and golly, I couldn't believe we didn't have that channel. So jealous, Jacob. I'm jealous.
It's a great game.
Tech plays Houston next, so I don't know. I think we got a chance. I think we got a shot.
Where
even
they
though they're ranked and we're not. We're playing at Tech.
Oh yeah, you guys.
So, yeah.
Hasn't Houston been trying to get into the Big 12 for like years?
Yeah, they are going to get in though. Whereas the Big 12's adding. So that's what I was kind of hinting at last time with Cincinnati. The Cincinnati, Houston, BYU, and UCF. They are being added.
Okay.
Yep, and it's going to be either next year or the year after. And Texas and OU are going to leave. That's why they're
the SEC.
in.
Yeah, got it.
So,
I remember reading that.
Yeah, I'm worried that football is going to end up being college football is going to end up being 2 divisions like the NFL, which will kind of take away from some of the like rivalries and traditions and stuff. But it might make better matchups. I don't know. As long as Tech's in those 2 divisions, I'm worried that some of our favorite teams are going to get left out and not even get a shot anymore.
Right.
And that's what worries me because that's half the fun of college is these underdogs getting a shot. So, we'll move into Utah, Florida. Did y'all watch that game?
Guys, another great game.
Great game.
Yeah.
Fun game to watch.
Oh, immensely. Anthony Richardson's legit. Like,
dude, that guy is good. He's a star, man.
He is
awesome. If there's a week 1 in Heisman, he would win it.
Oh, absolutely. He probably had a top 5 play of the year in this game too. The way he did it was very Tebow-esque. You remember that jump pass from Tebow where he like faked the run, did a jump pass? So he pump faked this pass in the air with 2 defenders on him about to sack him, and he spun out of that and then threw a touchdown. The dude had 175 yards passing, 100 yards plus rushing, 3 touchdowns. He was incredible. It was a great game to watch. I can't believe they're not ranked. They're going to be way better than what they predicted for the year, for sure.
Dude, and Utah's ranked 7. What?
I know.
Last year, Utah had a great game, and they nearly beat Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. It was an amazing game at the end of the year. I will say Utah earned that ranking last year and immediately lost it this year. Like the Pac-12 struggle bus for these games. I'm trying to think. Oh, Utah's tight end, a stud. I think, oh man, I've forgotten how to say his name. Brant Keith. Gosh, I watched the game. I cannot remember how they pronounced it, but dude's finished with 9 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown, and it felt like he was making big plays the whole night. Both quarterbacks played well. Richardson just looked better, Beyond better. It was kind of back and forth. And I don't know, Utah still looked like a good team to me. It just made me think Florida might be better than what we originally thought they were going to be.
And it's the swamp atmosphere. I mean, playing in Florida it's difficult. It's definitely in the top 8 college stadiums to play in.
All right, so the next one we're going to do is Notre Dame and OSU. We're going to talk about that real quick. Did y'all watch that game at all?
I watched, for the most part, most of that game.
For the most
It
part,
was-
most of that game.
Yeah, there you go. Gotta cover all my bases.
Insightful, Will.
Yeah, trying to write a 200-page essay or something. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty boring game. I mean, Notre Dame's quarterback was playing very safe for the most part at the beginning, but it was not too exciting one way or another. Ohio State looked pretty bland, pretty, not what you'd expect from Ohio State, but
Yeah, it was a very slow start for Ohio State. Their
Yeah.
offense looked pretty pedestrian. And it makes me think, like, is Notre Dame's defense really good, or is
Right,
OSU's
possibly.
offense not as explosive as we expected it to be? I mean, obviously losing Jackson Smith-Njigba was a big deal right off the bat. He was like one of their best receivers, and then they already were coming in with a receiver hurt, so it was like their receiver depth was kind of bad, and it was obvious. Like Justin Fields did not look like on the same page with these guys. There was some miscommunication about routes, and the timing looked off. I think that'll get better as the season goes on, especially if these are the guys that they're going to have to like stick with,
yeah.
going forward. And talking about the Notre Dame, talking about that quarterback playing conservatively, I think it was his first game. Like, he was super inexperienced, and that felt like they were constantly backed up on their own side of the field. They had no run game. Like, they were not helping him out at all.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame did not score after 11:58 in the second quarter. They didn't score again. So boring to watch.
It was
Such a boring way to watch a football game.
The rank too
When
high.
you feel like, okay, Notre Dame is never going to score again. Like, they're barely touching like their side of the field.
right.
So OSU finished with 6 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, and they held Notre Dame to 5.3 yards per play. Unusual that Ohio State's defense is what won them the game. Last year it was all about their offense, and they thought this year it might be all about their offense. But they got the defensive coordinator from Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State had a really good defense last year, and he's obviously immediately making an impact. Yeah. Also, Notre Dame's mascot, totally whack. Have y'all seen him?
The Fighting Irish guy.
Literally just a ginger guy dressed in a leprechaun suit. How could you take that guy serious? Like, literally, that guy's acting a fool, and you're looking him right in the eyes. Like, there's no escaping that. That's a dude.
Right.
You could see him on, like, you could look him up. Like,
Yeah.
I cannot believe that guy. It takes a certain kind of person to be able to be a mascot and just wear your face as the mask.
Do you think it's on his resume?
Oh, absolutely. That dude's trying to be some clown or something. I mean, there's no way you're doing that, and you're thinking, boy, I cannot wait to be a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're ranked too high, the Fighting Irish. Like, I don't know what they were ranked last year, but to go into be number 5 this year, it's just kind of a lot.
I also think they were ranked too high, but at the same time, they didn't do anything that game to make me think they're not a good team, because
Right.
Ohio State is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're supposed to be amazing, and they held that explosive offense to, I think, 21 points, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, their defense might be legit, and their offense might just need to be tweaked with a rookie quarterback, So, I wouldn't say that game made me think, oh, this is a fraudulent football team. Just made me think, boy, they got to really work on that offense.
Yeah.
But, I think they should still be ranked, just not top 10, and
Agreed.
maybe they can earn their way back to the top 10. I just hope they're not in the playoffs. I'm tired of Notre Dame being in the playoffs. It feels like every time they're there, they just get shellacked.
Yeah.
And then this game that happened right as we're recording this podcast, FSU, LSU, crazy game. We didn't get to see the last quarter. I assumed that the game was over because Florida State was winning by 2 touchdowns when we started this thing. But apparently LSU came back where they scored with 1 second left, and then FSU blocked the field goal to win the game. Like, that's college football. I love that. That's craziness. I wish we'd have got to see it. I'm definitely going to go check the highlights as soon as we're done with this.
For sure.
But that's awesome. And then I'm going to talk about Tech a little bit. I think our QBs are cursed. We haven't had our starting QB make it through a season the last 5 years. And in this first game, our quarterback broke his collarbone
Ugh.
again. I'm just so sick of it. Now, we have great backups. We had a 3-man battle at camp, and this guy barely won. So the guy behind him came in, balled out. He had 2 incompletions and 4 touchdown passes and 250 yards. And he's really good, Donovan Smith. And then his backup is really good too. He's the highest recruit Tech has ever gotten at the position. So he'll be the future. So we're set, but I just feel bad for Tyler Shuck, our original starting quarterback. So, and then I think I'm going to edit out the stuff Jacob said about Texas so that we can make this a Texas-free podcast now that Ashton's not there. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Whatever. But, that's also college football too, Brett. Like, any quarterback or any player can be replaced and do amazing. Like, we've seen that time and time again with college.
That's what's great about it, though, right?
I agree. I agree. It gives other players
in the pros. Exactly. In the pros, if you get your backup quarterback, you know it's not going to be good.
Really?
Rarely.
2016, Tony Romo. But Dak Prescott came in, and what did he do?
That's true. And why was it such a big story? Because it never happens.
Yeah, I know. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it never happens. The backup quarterbacks are normally trash. And the only reason Dak was good is because he was a rookie. You didn't know what you had. That's why rookies are so much better than Cooper Rush right now. I'm so sick of Cooper Rush. It's like they don't even care.
Hey. He had a great end of season last year. He did well.
I don't care. Yeah. We know what Cooper Rush is. Give us another rookie. Maybe we have another Dak in the third round, I'm just so tired of Cooper Rush.
I say we call Tony back, but that's fine.
Dak's only 29. He's got another 10, 11 years
Well,
left.
I know you love Tony Romo, but I was tired of Tony Romo also. So that dude choked a bunch of games.
Listen, this is your podcast, so I'm going to take it easy on you. And
I know. I knew I was poking the beast there. So.
Did you also say he choked a bunch of games, Brett?
Oh, dude. Tony Romo, I felt like every time we were in a close game, he'd throw an interception. I know he had a ton of comeback wins, but the games that mattered, he would throw an back-breaking interception.
We don't have time to get into all the statistics and beauty that is Tony Romo. But
yep, that 2016 team was it. We were going to the bowl. We were going to the chip. We were doing it all.
No, 2014, even before that. Okay.
2014, I agree with 2014. But all right, we'll move into. We're talking NFL here. We'll move into. We are part of a fantasy football league that we love dearly. Will is our great commissioner, and we just had our draft. So we're just going to talk a little bit about how we think our draft strategies and how we think we should, how someone should draft, and then we'll kind of get into our players we think you should pick and players we think you should pass on. I guess let's let Will start. Will, he's the commissioner.
Right.
He normally loses, but we'll let him spin his wheels.
Yeah. So in the past, I am known, as the draft choker. I do hundreds of mock drafts before draft day. And then the draft day comes and I do absolutely everything I said I wouldn't do. Why? I don't know. But this year was different. I searched my heart, and in the Bible it says God will give you the desires of your heart. I feel that's how my draft, it aligned with what the Lord wanted for me. And I got every player
this year.
I feel really good about my draft, and that is not normal for me. Usually I'm like, I picked McCaffrey second, and I was like, by the end of this, am I going to regret that? But
Skyler was pale. I felt bad for Skyler. He did not like his draft.
Oh, Skyler was panicking. Spencer was getting mad at Skyler because he was panicking. Yeah, Skyler's got the worst team by far. Knock on wood for any of us.
I don't know. Ethan and Anthony's are pretty rough too, but
Will, I actually commend you. Your draft was really good.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to say, we'll have to get into your draft strategy. People don't know who our friends are, so let's talk about why we were good.
Yeah, so my draft strategy of the past was play it safe. And this year I was like, no, I'm done playing it safe. Everyone was chanting Christian McCaffrey's name, so I was like, all right, let's just do it. So I picked Christian McCaffrey, and my draft strategy was essentially, if I'm deciding between 2 or 3 players, I'm going to pick the one that has the best possible chance of having a record-breaking season. And that's what I did every single round. If I was deciding between 2 or 3 people, I was like, this guy or this guy. All right, I'm going to go this guy. But I feel like I followed it pretty consistently throughout. There was one pick I feel like I had to make for safety purposes, and that was Dameon Pierce. And that's only because I picked Christian McCaffrey. I would have usually gone someone else right there, but I feel like he is a starting running back. He is blowing up at camp and in the preseason, and I think he's got a great chance at being amazing. So,
do you know what round you drafted him?
I drafted him in the 5th round. And
that's decent. I know originally people were like, he's going to be a steal in like the 7th round. And then his ADP went way up.
Exactly. Everyone was talking about him, so there was no chance at waiting. And essentially, I probably wouldn't have drafted him regular or usually, but because I did get McCaffrey and he might, die in week 2, felt the need to pick a running back there. So,
he's got a sneaky good offensive line.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, it's a 14-team league, so it's a much deeper league. So you gotta, you're gonna have players on your starting lineup that are not usually in a starting lineup.
I mean, I don't, but yes, I get what you're saying.
Sure.
Yeah. Pierce looked amazing in the preseason. He's going to be Davis Mills' best friend. His blocking, dude, oh my gosh, was something of dreams. Like he laid out defenders to protect his quarterback. Like it was a thing to see. I wanted him, and then you stole him from me. So it is what it is.
All right, Jacob, what's your draft strategy? How do you feel about your draft?
Well, for my draft, I really just wanted to go strong running back first and strong receiver second, and then receiver running back. So that's what I did. I drafted DeAndre Swift first. Read so many great things about him. I was really big on him. I was really big on him last year, but again, he got hurt. And then Stephon Diggs is just a baller. Every single year, ever since he joined the Bills, even when he was with the Vikings. And then I drafted Johnson and then Dobbins. So I know we're in a PPR league, so we have different stuff that goes along with it, but definitely excited about what's happening. I could have won the whole thing, Brett. I could have, Yeah,
if you didn't lose to me. I just needed to be known in this podcast that I am the champion. I won last year, and I have a trophy to prove it, an obnoxiously big trophy.
It's beautiful.
So I'm pretty excited about it. Oh, it's a sight to behold.
I do want to let
trophy in the other, and I'm just living my best life.
I do want to let the podcast listeners know, though, that I was the number 1 scoring team last year. I'll keep that with me.
Well, since we're all saying our placements, I did get last place, and I will be receiving a punishment tattoo come Sunday.
It will be epic. If we start like a Twitter handle for this podcast, I will definitely post that in the Twitter. So
we should.
Yeah. As long as it's on a good part of your body, it can't be.
Yeah, it's going to be upper thigh, I think.
Yeah, okay. Upper thigh. That's not. I mean, that's doable. That sounds like it's going to hurt, bro. That's going to hurt.
It's going to be great.
You should get it right on your hip, Will. Right between your abs and then where your thigh meet, right there on the line.
Yeah, okay.
I think you picked a good spot.
Really seductive.
For me, I felt really good about my draft also. I say let the draft come to you. I was determined to pick a running back first, but then Cooper Kupp fell to me at the 6th pick, and I had to pull the trigger because that guy last year had one of the best seasons of a receiver's ever had. He only had one game that he didn't have 95 plus yards. The guy just balled out, and I had him last year, and then I think he's the reason I won. So I had to ride him again, try and get that win again. After that, I had to draft for value because I was like, okay, now I can't draft running backs because the value of running backs after that first round just dropped tremendously. Yep. So I was like, all right, I'll draft for value, and then in later rounds when everyone had picked their starting running backs and were starting to dip into the running backs for like their flex position, that's when I'd pick a running back because I was like, I need one of these guys. I need these guys to be my number ones that these people are picking for flex now. I always draft a defense and kicker last because they're just not that important. And at least I don't think they're that important. I always just pick up the defense who's playing a bad offense.
And how does that work for you?
I won last year, Will. I
Oh
won
yeah,
last
yeah,
year.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I did have a stretch where my defense were getting me negative points, but I turned it around at the
Right.
second half. So
See,
that's just a risk you make. That's a risk. I might not have had one of my better players if I had picked the defense instead of them.
You've made some
that's
risky draft picks, Brett. That's for sure. With your two starting running backs.
That's what I'm saying. I had to pick the guys that would be flexes for other people as my starters. But Elijah Mitchell and David Montgomery are both the backs. They're the primary backs for their teams right now.
not for long.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know you got something to say about that, but
We'll see.
neither one of them at the beginning of the season are going to be backups, and that's what I was trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And I think I did. I've got Travis Kelce, Terry McLaurin, Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp. I
didn't even realize you got Kelce.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was my second pick because I think the value at tight end, you only have like 3 tight ends that are receiver quality, and you need to pick them early. So, and you can find receivers that can get good production in those later rounds.
Yeah, you got great depth on receiver, for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Only thing I'll say about the defense thing is usually I'm with you about, I wait till the last round, choose a defense, and then I stream defenses all season long. But this year, my plan was get a defense that plays horrible teams to start the year. So I chose the Broncos. They're playing Seattle and then Houston. And then I chose a second defense, which I never do, the Chargers, who's playing Jacksonville, Houston, and then I think Seattle as well. That could be wrong. But basically, I just guaranteed the first 5 wins of the season. 20 points for my defense.
Hey, we'll see how that works for you, but that is kind of a bold
yeah,
decision.
I know. It was with only 5 people on the bench.
2 defenses is the opposite of my draft strategy. So
yeah, me too.
We'll see. Yeah, no. And then my last thing I'd say is I have 10 quarterbacks that I feel comfortable with, and I don't pick a QB until all the 9 of the 10 are gone, and then I'll pick a QB. That's normally how I do it. So.
But with 14 teams, 10 might not be enough if they all go. And 2 of our people took 2 quarterbacks, like in the 3rd and 4th round.
It made me panic a little bit. I picked a quarterback sooner than I would have normally.
Yeah, me too.
Like in the past years, I normally don't pick quarterback very fast, but they were going like hotcakes, and I was like, well, I kind of need a quarterback, so I picked Trevor Lawrence because I feel good about his sophomore leap, and I think he's got better weapons, and he doesn't have a dummy Urban Meyer as a coach. So
true.
I think he's on the up and up.
Yeah, Josh Allen and Herbert went in like round 3. So early. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, see, and I think that's dumb. I don't think that's going to help them win at all. So,
agreed.
All right. So now that we've kind of talked about our strategy and our teams, let's just get into our pick and pass players. So, I say we go through and do everyone's pick players, and then after that, we'll do everyone's pass players. So, Jacob, I guess I'll let you go first this time.
Nice. So, not just picking this guy because he's on my team, but again, DeAndre Swift, in my opinion, is awesome. Really, really big on this guy, even though he got hurt last year. His ADP is number 10 overall with 8 in his position for this year. Very strong in running backs. It's reported that he is a top 5 offensive line, even though ESPN is having them like in the 23rd, 25th in the rankings. They did decently well at the end of last year, and they just added to that, and they built to that. So I'm very excited for him. Swift has Alvin Kamara-like skill if he's healthy. He had 600 plus rushing yards and then 400 plus receiving yards, over 1,000 scrimmage yards. Awesome output for that. His goal for this year, whenever he went to training camp, he said that he wanted 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards. And that's awesome to have. So if he can get that, that'd be great. I'm really excited for him. So he's my pick. My second pick is A.J. Brown. Dude's a beast. He's number 7 on the wide receiver pros in fantasy pros in strength of schedule. And so I think even though he has Devontae Smith on his right or left side, I still think he's going to be an absolute workhorse for Philadelphia, even though I hate to say it because it's the Eagles, but I think he's going to do so great. His ADP is 31 overall, which I thought was actually pretty high. number
It is
10,
high.
number 10 in his position, which is again pretty high. They're pretty big on AJ Brown. Over the past 2 seasons, I mean, it makes sense. He's been targeted over 100 times. And it's been reported that the Eagles are trying to go more pass friendly this year than run friendly, even though every report that I've been hearing has been like, oh, they have such a, a rush heavy offense, with Miles Sanders and, oh my gosh, Boston Scott and the other guy that they have. But I'm not
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I know. Jalen Hurts is going to take up a lot of rushing yards too, but they have 2 good receivers and a tight end. I'm honestly scared of the Eagles this year if I'm a Cowboys fan because I think they're going to be great. Let me see here. Him going into his 4th year, Devontae Smith going into the 2nd year, Eagles are going to be something to look out for.
So you trust Hurts enough that you think AJ Brown's worth the 30th pick?
That's not me. That's Fantasy Pro.
Did you get him?
But you're saying that this is a good pick. Like you should get him at this pick, right?
I do. I looked at the schedule. I know. Like I looked at their schedule. He's 100% healthy. He's ready to go. He's looked fantastic in training camp. He's going to ball out. Even if
I just don't trust Hurts. I don't think he can throw it that often. And he's got 2 prime receivers that he's got to spread the ball to.
The thing is, though, I do trust Hurts. Like his work ethic, like who he is as a person, who he is on the field. He's just gotten better every year. I mean, he was the number 1 ranked person going into this year for quarterbacks for a reason. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, because he runs the ball all the time.
I know, but he. Like,
I know. Hey, I'm just giving you crap. I mean, that's a pick. That's your pick. So,
but comparatively,
leave it.
But comparatively, like with now we're going to Jalen Hurts. Like speaking about his passing skill along with his rushing skill, it's probably better than Kyler Murray, than Russell Wilson. Obviously better than Lamar Jackson. As far as that goes.
His rushing is maybe.
No, I'm talking about collectively.
Kyler Murray is a much better passer, and Russell Wilson, much better passer. That is not. I'm
talking about collectively. Like if you average it out, like
I also am talking about collectively. Dude, I would take both of those quarterbacks before Hurts.
I don't know.
I would take Hurts over Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I would too.
I would not take Hurts over Russ or Kyler Murray. No way.
And I don't know. I think the Eagles offense and the Broncos offense are very similar this year. I
think the Eagles will be better this year, but AJ Brown as your 30th pick in the draft just seems way too high.
The only reason the Eagles will be better than the Cowboys is because of the last 15 years. There's never been a repeat NFC East winner. So even though the Cowboys are better, it's like the Cowboys won last year, so we kind of had to take it easy. So the Eagles will win the NFC East, but the Cowboys will squeak in with a wild card spot and do better than the Eagles.
No, I think it's going to be reversed. I think the Cowboys are going to win the division, and the Eagles are going to get into the wild card spot.
No, see, that hasn't happened in 15 years.
It's going to.
Y'all think we're going to make the playoffs, huh? I don't even think we're going to do that.
We will. We're about to get an Eagle on our offensive line, Jason Peters, even though he was with the Bears last year. But I'm excited. It's going to be an amazing, amazing year. A lot of great players are going to come out and show their stuff. So it's going to be an awesome time.
All right, Will, your turn.
All right, my picks. So I got a little combo of Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs. I think the arrival of Devontae Adams is just going to open up that entire offense. I think, Darren Waller started off so strong last year, but, as soon as it was found out that he was the guy, what happened? Defense started taking care of him, and who went off? Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow, the second half of the season, just lit it up. So I think having Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, and Josh Jacobs, I think there is no guy there that is going to be bad. I would take any of those guys, maybe Hunter Renfrow.
Dude, Josh Jacobs is bad. No, I agree with you with Waller, but Jacobs is bad. He was like a feature back at the Hall of Fame game. That is like a death sentence as a running back.
No.
They declined his 5th-year option. They don't like him. I just don't.
Hey,
that dude, he's not explosive. He hasn't had any big runs in his entire career. I think, I don't know the stats, but he barely has any over 20 yards. So that dude, that's my counter to you. I don't think he's a good.
Hey, I think that this is Josh Jacobs' year to prove the haters wrong. Like I think there's going to
I
be
had
so
him
much.
last year.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I
an
mean, I've
idiot.
had Josh Jacobs before too. I think his rookie or maybe second year, and maybe that's why I love him so much because he did great for me then.
Yeah, he did have a
I
good.
will say, yeah, but I will say, yeah, he has declined over the years, but I think he's declined because people are getting traded. Like Amari Cooper was there, gone, so there was not really a receiving core there. Henry Ruggs, things happened, so
Things did happen.
yeah. So I'm saying now that the offense has those receiving weapons, it can be balanced enough to where he will, especially for where he's going. Like I like him as a second
Where's he
running
going?
back, especially a flex. Like as far as like where he's going in fantasy drafts.
Yeah, I know. Do you know like an ADP?
Yeah, he is. So Gabe took him with the 46th pick, and I think
Oof.
that is a good spot for him. Like I would probably this might
I'd
sound
rather have AJ Brown at 30.
I would take Josh Jacobs at 46 over Montgomery. David Montgomery.
Ooh,
Yes.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
46. Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, if you look at his stats, Josh Jacobs from last year, after week 12 was when it really started to pick up for him. Like before that, barely doing anything. Like he had maybe 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, but he only had 2 games over 100 rushing yards. Like, but his carries really started to pick up after week 12, like 20, 15, 27, 26. Like it really started to build for him. So I might agree with you, Will, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, and then so that's the little duo.
Bold
The
take, Jacob. Bold take.
yeah.
There's a lot of I don't knows in there. Josh Jacobs, I'm not the biggest fan of him either.
I like him. I like Darren Waller. I like the entire Raiders offense. I like a lot of offensive players on any AFC West team this year because those games are going to be
That's
insane.
true.
Like Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos. I would have taken a full team of those players if I could have in the draft.
Chargers my team to get to the Super Bowl. Calling it
Dude,
here.
they could. So
They
yeah, that's my little duo. Other than those two, my biggest pick is Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown last year on the Ravens with Lamar Jackson throwing him the ball had 91 receptions and over 1,000 yards. D-Hop is out for 6 games, and he's got Kyler Murray throwing him the ball. That guy is lightning. He is going to have, I bet you through 6 games, bold prediction, he's top 4 wide receiver.
Oh Lord.
Bold prediction.
And
Write it
I
down.
think some.
Write it
So
down.
here's what's
I
gonna
like
happen.
it.
Oh my gosh.
Here's what's going to happen. Some chump like Jacob, after 4 games, is going to offer me a trade for him. I'm going to give him to him because D-Hop's coming back. No, honestly, I probably wouldn't give it. I probably wouldn't give it to you because I think even once D-Hop gets back, that just, I mean, his numbers will go down once that happens. But it also makes it to where, he's going off. Marquise Brown's going off consistently, and now that it's been consistent and defenses are starting to game plan against him, D-Hop comes back, so they can't really game plan against him. So I think Marquise Brown's a huge hit. I mean, Kyler Murray is definitely a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
Sorry, the ADP to me is super important. Where's this guy going right now?
He is going.
Golly, what a hot take, Will.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's gonna be lightning. It's gonna be great.
Remember, he's in a new offense.
Yeah, I know, but he's in a better offense. He's going. I took him 55th, and that was lower than what he was going.
55th isn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
I don't have a preference. I don't have an opinion on him. I'll be interested to see if you're right.
Wow. He's going on Fantasy Pros.
What is
He's going wide receiver number 23.
So he's wide receiver 21 on ESPN.
Wow.
Okay. That's I mean 21 receiver. That's pretty. I'm interested. Yeah, that's a good. I like that pick. He wasn't even on my radar.
Well, he's going to.
All right. My picks are Terry McLaurin. So Scary Terry, amazing receiver, awesome to watch, and he's had trash quarterbacks, absolute garbage. Haskins, Heineke, Alex Smith with the bum leg. I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, I don't know. He's just had bad quarterbacks. Say what you will about Carson Wentz, that dude is going to be the best quarterback he's ever played with. Not to mention,
Agreed.
Carson Wentz isn't good at a lot of things, but he is a great deep ball passing quarterback.
Agreed.
Last year he completed the sixth highest rate in the NFL on deep targets. Terry McLaurin, amazing receiver. He had 33 deep targets last year, which was top 5 in the NFL. He caught 11 of them and dropped 0. That 7 of those were contested deep catches. That was number 1 in the NFL. That means that the other 22 passes were bad throws. Carson Wentz, he's going to make better throws.
Yeah.
These two are going to connect constantly. That duo is going to be magical. And this guy, his ADP 45. Wow. So I would take him over AJ Brown at 30, much less at 45. You kidding me? You're going to get a top receiver at 45. That is a great deal, I think. Even if they don't connect on all these deep passes, Terry's going to be the best player on that team, and Carson Wentz force feeds receivers sometimes. He is going to be looking for – when he's doing that thing where he's got 2 broken ankles and he's running off the field trying to sling it across the football field, he's going to be looking for Terry McLaurin. And Terry's going to come through for him sometimes, you know? I think that's what's going to happen. So that's my number 1 pick.
Yeah, I completely agree. Terry McLaurin is like – he's going to go off. He is going to easily have his best year. Whenever I picked Mike Evans a few picks before him, I was deciding between those 2 guys, Mike Evans.
You made the wrong choice.
Well, I think the main reason I did it is because, it is the Carson Wentz versus Tom Brady thing. And Tom Brady's going to get, hit his guys. Carson Wentz, he does, the long pass accuracy is there. But if I have to choose a quarterback to trust, obviously I'm choosing Tom Brady.
That's fair. I used that argument against Jacob earlier with Hurts. So
yeah.
I just really believe in Terry, and I think that he's going to be the main guy on that offense versus with Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, he's good with whatever receivers. He doesn't care who's catching the ball. He's just throwing it where it's supposed to be thrown.
I agree with this.
All right.
I agree with this take, Brett. I think he's going to be great.
My next one is Brandon Cooks. So Brandon Cooks, of the last 7 healthy seasons he's had, he's reached 1,000 yards. In 2021 with Mills, once Mills came in, he averaged 7.8 points per game. In 22 of his last 27 games he's played in, he's gotten 6 or more targets. So this guy, he just is consistent. The guy always produces. Whatever team he's on, he's producing. Whatever quarterback is there, he's producing. No matter where you put him, he's going to produce. And the thing is his value is tremendous at 71. His ADP is 71. And this guy, he averaged 7.8 points per game in 2021 when Mills was quarterback. Mills is going to be quarterback the entire season this year as long as he doesn't get hurt. You're not going to find better value at receiver than Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I think Brandon Cooks is an extremely safe pick because he does it every year with mediocre at best quarterbacks. If Mills can turn into something, then Cooks could be huge. I would have taken him.
He was Hopkins before DeAndre Hopkins was Hopkins. Like, straight up. Hopkins was doing that with bad quarterbacks too at Houston.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, I was wondering where that connection was going to be. Yes. That works.
True.
Before Deshaun Watson got there, it was crap quarterbacks. And then Deshaun Watson got there, and he had a couple of good years with him.
All right, so we got our good picks in. Let's hear who we should pass on. Jacob, you can start again.
So I am passing on Cordero Patterson. He was my savior in my league last year. He's probably like the sleeper of the year, I would say. He had a great.
He came out of nowhere.
I know, he really did.
That was insane.
He was a kick returner, and then he got moved into the running back position and the wide receiver position, and he absolutely went off 2/3 of the year. His ADP is 81 overall with number 34 in his position. It makes sense. There's going to be a big drop off for him. He had a great year last year. 1,200 total yards, 11 total touchdowns. He will not have that same production this year. Not with this new team that he has. By new, I'm talking about new offense, new quarterback. He had a way better connection with Matt Ryan than he will with Marcus Mariota. If he does do anything close to what he did, I will be absolutely shocked. He's getting older. 31 years old. With the new offense, it just won't be the same. So I am not big on Cordero Patterson this year. I think he's going to do okay. I think maybe he might have like 700, 800 scrimmage yards, but not 1,000 plus.
So you don't like him for where he got picked?
Yeah, you wouldn't pick him at that late?
I think that's fair. I mean, 81 overall, number 34 in his position. There's way better players being drafted before him. Rightfully so. It makes sense. So I think where he's at. What?
I'm not sure you understand the assignment.
The pass?
The pass, you're saying you would pick him, though. You would pick him at his ADP.
Would you or would you not pick Cordero Patterson at where he's currently being drafted?
I would not.
There you go. There you go. Don't pick him.
Yeah.
This is the pass section.
Yeah, I'm not picking him at all. I'm just giving like the stats of like what he was, and I just wouldn't pick him. I just think that
there you go.
He's not worth it. I mean, there's going to be other players on that team that are going to be worth picking, but do not pick Patterson. Yeah, I was just giving stats to like what he was to what he's going to be this year. And his ADP.
You just said that you would pick him at that ADP, and I'm like, well, then it's not really a pass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah,
okay.
It's still
you would just not pick him.
Yeah, it's still a pass no matter his ADP. Like,
I still think he has value if he goes below that, but I wouldn't pick him at that. Either.
Yeah,
he might have a
pretty close to it, I think, but
something around there. But
just because he's still a weapon in that offense, who knows
who's going to emerge? He could do it again. He proved everyone wrong once. He can do it again.
Yeah, he might have 1 or 2 games where he shows something. But the thing is, though, that's what fantasy is so great for. He might have 1 or 2 games in a row, and then people are going to be like, maybe it's time to, trade for him or trade him away. And we'll see. I'm playing him week 1, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll say that.
Did you just say you're playing against him? Okay.
Hey, I'm playing against him. Brett's like, Jacob, this is Pat. I may still love him just a little bit, but he's a pass, guys. He's a pass.
Okay, there you go. He's a pass.
All right.
What's your second one?
Pass number 2, Amari Cooper, dude.
That you are not picking.
I'm not picking this guy. Like, the offense is just trash. He left the number 1 offense to go to the Browns, which is just so many uncertainties. They've always been a run first team. He just will never be the same as he was. I mean, he's played in the league 8 years. 4 of those years he had 1,000-yard receiving years, and the other 4 he did not. He's not going to get back to 1,000 yards for the rest of his career, and that's a fact. I just don't believe it. He's 28 years old. It's just not going to happen. I am passing on Amari Cooper all day long. Like,
you think?
Sounds like you're just thinking from a gut feeling.
Yeah, you think post week 11 when Deshaun Watson comes back, he'll do good or no?
I think he might have 70, 80-yard receiving games, but his heart's just never been in it. Like, it really pissed me off to see his smiling face on fantasy draft night, and every single pick prior to that, it just wasn't there. It was like the straight face, and I'm like, forget you, Amari Cooper. Forget you, dude. Like, the fact that you're smiling like this just pisses me off. He's not going to be anything what close he was.
You get mad at the weirdest things.
Dude, it's just
Amari Cooper smiles in his photograph, and you're like, screw this guy. Yeah, I don't like him.
Well, the thing is, though, you guys can both agree with me that we've talked about it before in our chats where when he's out there, it just didn't feel like he was there.
I love Amari.
What?
No, I love Amari. I was always on Amari. When Amari came to the Cowboys, he changed the Cowboys. Before that, Dak had been playing like straight trash. We got a good receiver, and it changed everything.
I have an Amari Cooper jersey.
Amari was a great Cowboy, and we got a 5th-round pick for him, and I am still mad about it. The Cowboys are so inept right now. It bothers me.
But it's hard to get it. He was about to be a free agent. So they took what they could get.
I guess so. I would have just taken him another year of Amari. I don't need a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
Cowboys are better without him. We're better without him.
Yeah, Jacob, you're wrong. It sounds like you're just personal against this guy.
Nope.
I have him on my team. I picked him late because what's his ADP, Jacob?
His ADP is 66 overall with number 30 in his position, which I think that's where he belongs. So it's bad.
Jacob. So would you pick him at that time?
Hey, I'm just saying. Like,
No, you're not. You're not understanding. When you pick a player at their ADP, that means it's a good pick. You're saying you agree with
you
the
know,
pick.
I
You got to
think
be saying, look, you should be picking this guy way later than his ADP.
listener,
That's how it works.
I think it should be reversed. I think he should be picked 66 for his position and not 66 overall.
Okay, see, that's what you got to say.
That's what it's
you gotta
coming
say.
down to. Like
There you go.
there are
There you go.
65 other wide receivers that I'd rather pick.
I'm trying to decide if I should cut out some of your first takes so that you have a cohesive take.
Hey, do what you wish. This is coming from the heart.
Okay.
You know, this is raw, unfiltered Jacob to the best.
Yeah, you're killing me.
Hey, we gotta have fun, baby.
Hey, I mean,
Gotta have fun,
Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper. Pick him at his ADP. That's Jacob's bold prediction.
No. Pick him at his reverse ADP of 66 in his position, not 30.
Your turn, Will.
All right, my pass is Ezekiel Elliott, which I hate saying that. I don't like it at all. But here's what I think is going to happen. I think, he got his money. He got paid. He's just been on a decline for years and years and years. Tyron Smith is out. Receiving core is worse than it was last year.
Yes, sir.
It's just he can't be any better than he was last year. And I think Tony Pollard is going to outscore Zeke this season. I think by week 4 or 5, maybe 6, Pollard's getting as many, if not more, touches than Zeke. So,
you think Jerry Jones will let that happen? Because I don't.
Jerry Jones, actually, that's a good point.
Doesn't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah, but it's been 2 years since he got his contract.
He literally said, "We go as Zeke goes."
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
We go down.
So. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Cowboys don't make playoffs because everything you just said, I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
I think Zeke is a safe pick because I think no matter what, they will try to have him in the lineup. They will try to make him good.
I just hope not. I think because McCarthy's on the hot seat and he's the coach, he decides who plays, who doesn't play, at least for one game before he gets
he's a
fired.
bit of a puppet, yeah.
But, yeah, so
The Cowboy coach, I would not want that job.
Yeah, me neither. Oof, that'd be... Well, actually, that's not true. I would love that job until I hated it.
Yeah, I take it back also. I'd be puppet. Let me be puppet.
Jerry, if you're listening...
So, Will, with him
Jerry,
being running back 15...
Blast this podcast.
With him being running back 15 in the ADP, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I would probably take him as like 25. 20 to 25 range.
Yes.
And Tony Pollard...
This is a good take.
Tony Pollard could have been a pick for me, probably. Like, I would have reached for him a little bit. So
he did get reached for in our draft, but we're all Cowboys fans. So
true.
Now, Elliott is ranked 30th overall as far as ADP falls.
Yes. Well, I'm taking him maybe
way later
30th.
than that.
Yeah.
No,
so
not
20
30th.
to 25 range. But for
as a running back, right?
As a running back is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's Zeke. My other pass is David Montgomery.
Oof, that hurts.
Yeah, I know you have him on your team, but I think David Montgomery, first of all, his yards per carry is 3.8. The fact that he's a bruiser, he had like 225 carries, I believe, last year, and his average was a 3.8. And his whole coaching staff this year is brand new. They have no loyalties to him. Khalil Herbert did way too much with the carries he was given last year to not take more carries from him as the year goes on. So I think because of those few things, new coaching staff has no loyalty to him. Average was horrible. Horrible offensive line that was not upgraded at all.
Bad offensive line.
Yeah, and Herbert did too well with the few opportunities he had. I just don't see... I don't see a good or even an average year from that, which is why I picked Khalil Herbert for my bench, because I think at some point he'll be out carrying or out touching David Montgomery.
What was Montgomery's ADP?
Jacob, you're the ADP guy currently.
It looked like it was 34.
34 overall?
Surely not.
That is a really
37 overall. 36.
Wow.
His running back was number 18.
That is disgusting.
Wow. Well, let me tell you, I got him at 51. So I might have got a steal with that.
Hey, maybe
that's why I picked him. Yeah.
He was not on my radar whatsoever. There's just so many uncertainties with the Bears.
Again,
to trust.
With my draft strategy, I had to get these running backs that are a little more risky because I picked a wide receiver with my first pick.
Now, Will, going back to your Ezekiel Elliott prediction, I don't agree with you. I think that he is going to do very well this year. I don't think he's going to get 1,000 yards. He got 1,000 yards last year, barely, but I think that he's going to do better than what you expect.
I'm waiting for you to say just kidding.
No, I really do. I think he's going to get over 10.
What is your reason?
Touchdowns. Just because their offense is going to be more run heavy with their receivers being the way that it is. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is their number one trusted guy.
That line is trash.
We don't know that for sure. We don't know how the rookie's going to be. We don't know if we're going to get Jason Peters. If we get Jason Peters and the rookie turns out to be amazing, who knows? So
if we get Jason Peters, my take might change a little bit.
Yeah, like Ezekiel Elliott's 100% healthy. Everybody has said he's been overworked. He's definitely going to share the backfield with Pollard, but they've talked more about Pollard being in the slot than anything. And so Ezekiel Elliott's 27 years old. Austin Eckler's 27 years old, and everybody's talking about how Austin Eckler's in his prime right now. I think Elliott's going to have
Austin Eckler looks better every year, and Zeke looks worse every year.
Yeah.
Well, Zeke has been worked more than Austin Eckler. He's gotten almost twice the touches as Austin Eckler has.
That's true. He's getting worse and worse and worse.
Hey,
exactly.
I'm not saying that he's been worse, but I think he's going to do better than what you expect.
I hope so. But
they're going to lean more towards the rushing game than ever before this year, with there being so much uncertainty at wide receiver. Their tight end and CeeDee Lamb is really what they got.
All right, whatever you say.
Hot take.
My first pass is Breece Hall. He really started jumping up the board this year for, I guess, just because he's presumed the starting running back for the Jets. Thing is, I think the Jets coaches have even said that they prefer a two-back approach with Michael Carter and Breece Hall. We've seen, like, even DeAndre Swift, it took him a while before he overtook the backfield. Like, that first year, he split carries. He wasn't the primary guy. Kind of feel the same way about Breece Hall. He's got a weak offensive line. Last year, that offense was 26th in points per game and 28th in yard per game. So they're not a good offense. Right now, Zach Wilson's hurt, and even when he is playing, you don't know if he's any good. So that offense is just going to struggle. And weirdly, Zach Wilson gets a lot of goal line carries. He had 6 goal line carries, which is more than Kyler Murray.
That is very strange.
Isn't that strange? Like, so he'll take a bite out of Breece Hall's carries likely when they get down into the red zone. So he might just be in a shared backfield on a bad team, and his ADP is 32 overall.
That's
like
insane.
I wouldn't touch that. I would not touch that with a 20-foot pole. Breece Hall, maybe I might have picked him late when I picked David Montgomery because they kind of have the similar vibes to me, but people are valuing David Montgomery less than they're valuing Breece Hall. Breece Hall, I think, went in the second round in our draft.
I think it was third.
Gabe.
Yeah. I mean, that's just too high.
There's
so many other people I'd rather have in the third round.
Who would you rather take, Montgomery or Breece Hall?
I value them the same.
Okay.
I would have taken if you're saying if I had both of them available at my pick, which one would I pick? Probably Breece Hall because I feel like he has some upside as a rookie. You just don't know. Like he could end up popping off, and I could look like an idiot. I just don't think that's going to happen. So, and with David Montgomery, like you've said, he's kind of had his chance to pop off, and now he's on the part of like prove yourself or you will get benched.
Right.
So I hope David Montgomery proves himself, but I think Breece Hall, he'll get multiple chances. David Montgomery, he might not. So
I don't understand how. Was there something in the news that popped up about Michael Carter that they didn't like? I thought he was going to do pretty decently on the Jets. I mean, they have Hall predicted to do over 1,000 rush yards this year. Like that's crazy. Like what happened with
that is crazy.
What happened with Carter? I thought Carter was
and the coaches are not even saying like Breece Hall is our number one. You know, it's not. They're not saying that.
But the pick that they picked Breece Hall at is why they're expecting him to get every opportunity to take as many carries as possible. Whereas Michael Carter, was he a day 2 or day 3 draft pick?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But so they don't feel.
I just think it'll be more like a Melvin Gordon Javonte split last year. Okay. You know, where it's like 60-40, maybe even 50-50 sometimes.
Yeah.
Versus, I think this year Javonte will get more. And I think next year Brees Hall will get more. But this
Right.
first year, that's not how it works. That's not how it's ever played out. So,
Yeah, but I think the main difference there is Michael Carter and Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's been a vet. Michael Carter, I don't know.
what?
I
How
just,
long is he? 2 years? 2 years in? Is this his third year?
this is his second year, I thought.
Yeah, I
This
think
is
this
just
is
his second
Michael
year. So he
Carter's
was a
second
rookie
year.
last year.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That is a difference. But I still stand by my idea. I mean, and even then, it's like they're still going to want. So now you have two guys that are quality young backs. I mean,
Right.
this
Agreed.
way you preserve them. You know,
Mhm.
it's not like you're even looking for them to take over. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't take Brees Hall at 32. I might take him at 51.
So is this
It's
like,
kind of how I feel about him.
I think this is kind of like how the league is going now, where it's going to be featuring, two backs. Like what you're just talking about, Brett, I piggyback off that because recently that's what we've seen over the past few years with, the Broncos.
Yeah, the bell cow back is going away.
Yeah, like that's
Unfortunately.
gone. No more Jamal Lewis's, no more Clinton Portis's, like
It's
all of
sad.
that's
Adrian
gone.
Peterson.
Yeah, all of that's gone. I think I agree with you, Brett, 100%. They're going to be doing a lot of this two back, thing where it keeps the backs healthier longer. It keeps injury risk down. But I mean, who knows? There's a lot of crazy things that are going on out there. I mean, for Michael Carter, he's projected to do like 500 yards rushing. But again, I don't know why they're so down on him. Like he must have had
I don't know.
terrible
Either.
preseason or something.
All right, and my number 2 is Jerry Jeudy. His ADP is bad again at 58. I don't think I would take him at 58. Last year he finished wide receiver 50, and this year they have him projected as a wide receiver 21. Now I know he's updated at quarterback or upgraded at quarterback, but he's got Sutton on that same team, and that he has proven that he is a good receiver. He has done it again and again, and he's being drafted at the same time as Jeudy. Like they're nearly at the identical ADPs. So it's like, why would you not pick Sutton, who is a known commodity, versus Jeudy, who in his 2 seasons in 26 games only has 3 touchdowns? 3 touchdowns. Like what are you doing?
I mean, I completely agree. Cortland Sutton, I feel like, is going to be the DK Metcalf of that offense, and he's going to get end zone targets. And I like where Sutton's going, but yeah, Jeudy going in the exact same positioning,
same spot is a bad. Yeah, that's crazy. Now, if you can get Jeudy later, I think he's a good pick. If you can get him like 30 rounds, 30 picks later, I think that's a good spot because then he has an opportunity to pop off. Maybe he just can't get in the end zone because maybe he'll have touchdown regression where he'll make up for all those touchdowns he didn't score the last 2 years because he'll have a good quarterback. But just right now, he's just unproven. So I don't know why you would pick him where he's being picked.
Doesn't Sutton have like an injury history though, where he missed quite a bit?
Yeah, there was a few games last year where he missed a decent amount of time.
Well, 2020 he tore his ACL, and then he missed. Oh no, he didn't miss a game last year. He was out for the rest of one game. So but if that were to happen, the upside of Jerry Jeudy would be huge.
But the same goes for Sutton. If Jeudy gets hurt,
versa.
Sutton's going to pop off.
That's
it's
true.
like that's just not how you pick in fantasy.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 bad picks, I think, or pass. Okay, we in the segment. Y'all got anything else to say?
I don't think so.
Good luck to you both.
Yeah.
See you during the year, my boys.
Okay, so we took this podcast of 1 episode as a sports, games, and movies. We're gonna be light on the games this time. I know y'all aren't big gamers, so we're just kind of move past that, get into movies, and we want to review movies that are recent. Me and Ashton did, but right now, no good movies out. Did y'all see that they brought Top Gun and Spider-Man back in theaters?
Yeah,
because there's just no movies out.
Yep.
So we decided we were going to review Prey, which, if you don't know, that's a streaming service only release, and it's on Hulu in America and Disney Plus in other countries. Yeah, so let's just get into it. This is non-spoiler territory. We'll definitely say when we're going to get into spoilers. So first off, what is you guys' experience with the Predator movies?
Zero experience. Maybe not zero, but nothing. I couldn't tell you a single thing about them. I've seen one of them at one point, but it was so long ago that I would need to rewatch it. So going into this movie, I knew nothing, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit scattered. Like I would watch one whole movie at this time and then take a break and watch a different movie that was not even in chronological order, right? But I do know that they're coming out with a Alien versus Predator Hulu show that's coming out probably in a year or two.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, on FX. I read about that today, actually. So I'm very excited about that because this movie was amazing.
Okay. There we go. Showing your hand early. I will say I also liked it too. We've got the spectrum here, so that's good. That always goes well for a movie. What genre movie y'all think this is?
I don't
Action
know.
thriller.
It's like not quite horror or thriller.
Yeah, it's not a thriller.
Yeah, maybe like action.
I would say action, although I know the original Predators, they were supposed to be more horror, right?
Yeah, I thought.
I thought so too. I wasn't sure what to expect with this movie. So my experience is I've watched the first Predator a long time ago,
Yeah,
and it was when I was very young. So
yeah,
I don't remember it very well, and I remember thinking like, "Oh, this is hardcore. I'm scared. I don't want to watch this. I'm closing my eyes for half this movie."
right.
So I've grown up, and I just really just didn't touch the franchise because it's kind of cheesy to me, like a B tier movie, if that makes sense. But there was one movie that came out, Predators. Did y'all see Predators?
No.
Nope.
Jacob, if you like this movie, watch Predators. It's kind of similar. It has a twist. I won't tell y'all on how it is, but the Predators, they like hunt
Yep.
on different planets, right? Well, this one, I don't want to tell you, I don't want to ruin it, but watch Predators because I think you'll like it, Jacob. But that is the only one I saw, and it was enough that made me excited for this new movie, Prey. I guess we'll just get into what we thought of the movie. So, Jacob, you really liked it. We'll give our ratings at the end, but you really liked it, right?
Yeah, I really did. I enjoyed it. It's the origin story of Predator, right, and who they are and what they do. And so I thought visually it was a beautiful movie. I thought it was very well done.
Oh
I know
man,
there,
it looks shot on location, right?
yeah,
It does look really good.
So pretty.
it looked
Yeah.
amazing. The cinematography was gorgeous. I thought the acting was good ish. Of course, there were some scenes where I was just like, I don't know if this would have actually happened in real life, but I thought it was a very well done movie overall. The action scenes were where they needed to be. The story was easy to follow.
Quick pace to the story. I liked that.
Yeah, it just kind of
It
didn't.
moved. It didn't hover that much.
No, but I kind of wish it went more into, again, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I don't think so, but kind of where Predator came from, maybe. I don't think that's a
Yeah.
spoiler, but
No, that's fine. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's fine.
yeah, overall,
You
great
wish
movie.
it would have done that.
Yeah, I kind of wish it gave more of a character development on that and how they found Earth, per se.
What about you, Will?
Yeah, I agree with that last statement, but that's my main like con that really takes away from it is it's been advertised as like an origin story, but I still don't know the origin.
Yeah.
Like it was a cool movie and a lot of cool stuff happened. Cinematography was great. The fight scenes were very cool. But like
Yeah,
I
legit action, I thought.
yeah,
Legit. Like
for sure.
I was like, wow, this is very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. But I will say it's also just not my type of movie. So
Yeah.
I will say it was good for what it was, but my rating will not be.
Do you have the top 3 movies you like off the top of your head?
Yeah, number one, Shawshank Redemption. Number
Okay.
two is Joker, I believe. Let me double check.
Man, that's crazy. That's your number 2.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
that's
sorry,
crazy.
that was wrong. Number one, Shawshank Redemption. Number two, La La Land. Right, I know.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
number three, Avengers: Infinity War, and then number four is Joker.
Okay. That's that's better than Ashton's, I guess. So that's
Dude,
that's
Ashton
something.
had Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Oh
That's
my
all I'll
gosh.
say about that.
All right. What about you, Jacob? Give me top 3, just so people know where we're coming from when we're about to rate this movie.
So my top 3, number 1, Dark Knight. Love the Dark Knight. I listening to y'all's first podcast with the Batman Begins. There's a
Yeah.
lot to agree with, but I was like, there's no greater story than the Joker, right? And who he is, and like the story behind it, and the villain that he is. So I disagreed.
I get that.
I disagreed with you guys by saying that Batman Begins was the best, but so Dark
Hey,
Knight.
I get that. I know.
Dark Knight's number 1, Interstellar's number 2, and then Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is number 3.
Sweet.
I love Lord of the Rings, and I still do. The battle scenes in Return of the King are something to behold, and especially with it being done in the years that it were, like that the movie was filmed. New Zealand is gorgeous, and then Interstellar. Have you seen Interstellar? Like, it's amazing.
Beautiful.
I love it. I love it.
That's a good top 3.
Yeah, it is a good top 3. Yes, very good, Jacob. Yeah, I will say I more line up with you than Will for sure, and Ashton. So I don't know what that says about me, but we'll just keep moving. I really liked. I think something that we haven't touched on is the Predator design in this movie. I loved the Predator design.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Like his armor and his.
It was cool.
Even like when his armor falls off, like his face is just gross. It's so nasty. I love how nasty it is. And then there's a specific weapon that's so stupid, but I loved it. I loved when it came into play. So I'm excited to talk about that in the spoiler spot. And the cons of this movie, ways that made it like not one of the best movies I've seen, is it has that tired trope of no matter how skilled you are, the boys will never respect you. So, girl power, baby. I can get behind some girl power, but not the way this movie did it. It wasn't terrible. I've definitely seen it worse, but there was even one scene where she looks at a little girl like, "Am I inspiring you yet?" And I'm like, "Okay, I get it." So,
but you said that was.
And then the low stakes. That's a con. Yeah. Was that a pro for you? Did you like how they did it?
I think historically, it probably aligned with how they viewed, females or female fighters back in the day.
You think the Indians wouldn't have respected a girl who could have done the things that she was doing?
I think, who was it? Her brother? Her brother respected her.
Yeah.
But
barely.
Well, I think that's why I liked it so much.
He was struggling to do it.
Right, but I think that's why I liked it so much.
Her brother is a great side character too. Sorry. I'll say the low stakes of this story kind of made it hard to buy in sometimes because, like you're saying, I didn't know the origin story of the Predator at all.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't feel for him. And then for her, I don't know anything other than that she's a girl and she is not respected by her tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like these are the stakes you're setting up for this entire movie, those two things. So that was a con. And then also that dumb weapon that I like so much is also really dumb. So
trying to figure out what weapon it is.
All right, are we ready to go into spoilers? Jacob, now you can talk freely about the movie and I'll not have to edit it out.
The spoilers in this movie, again, I thought the build up to what was going on to the end was perfect, right where it needed to be. Brett, from what we've discussed and what I messaged everybody in the movie chat that we have, that bear scene was just
the bear scene is so good.
Like, I 1000%.
So good.
Dude, I messaged Spencer and I was like, Spencer, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Like it was the hardest thing I've ever seen. Like that bear freaking took that thing on. So
he fist fought a bear and then he like lifts it up and the blood's like pouring over his invisible suit. I was like this. And then her hiding even in that was really cool, where the bear's like trying to get her and then it disappears and then you see the fight from her vantage point.
That was cool.
So good.
Really cool how they did that.
Yeah.
Literally, my wife walked in and she was like, "Wow, what movie are we watching? That was really cool." I'm like, "Okay, that is a good movie." She just saw one scene and she said that was really cool.
Yeah.
So.
But I thought the French people took away from the movie a little bit. Like,
I think they were supposed to be English, and you were just hearing them from the point of view as an Indian who couldn't understand them.
Maybe.
Oh, really?
I think that's what it was.
That's a good viewpoint.
That's what I was taking away from it.
We had subtitles on, and
what language it was. Yeah, it was French.
But
okay, then I was wrong.
It could be.
I'm wrong. No,
that's way cooler.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. So,
but to me, they took away from the movie just a little bit. I thought some of the acting that they had was very cheesy in some ways. Well, that's when I was talking about acting in the beginning. But that fight scene wherever they're in that valley and they have the two people tied up.
Ooh.
That was a great fight scene.
Brutal.
It was brutal. Yeah. It was brutal. That was a great fight.
And it showed off all his weapons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, him him jumping on top of the trees, just kind of bouncing off everywhere, and him having that shield. And the shield, I was like, just shoot him in the foot. Like, what's going on? You can't aim at his feet. Like, it covered his torso.
Movie. Captain America, he should have been dead a long time.
Dude, seriously. No, that could be a topic we could discuss. But towards the end of the movie, Will, I know it's more fresh on your mind since you just saw it. Towards the end of the movie, I thought that scene where she was able to learn the techniques of the Predator and realize like what she needed to do to defeat him. I love that scene, right? She lured him to the quicksand and, was able to use his own weapons against him. And that was his demise. And I thought it was a beautiful end to the story.
Yeah, see, the whole movie basically is building her up as she's just not a big enough threat, not good enough, not, the reason Predator wasn't killing her is because she wasn't a big enough threat. I wish the movie would have ended with him is it a him? I don't know. Realizing she was a big enough threat and killing her. It's his origin story. And then cutting right there. Like, it just would have been legendary. It would have that would have made my score higher. Also,
yeah, they can't do that though.
I know, but
they got to inspire the little girls, man.
But it would have inspired an audience. That, hey, she was finally a big enough threat.
I thought her fight scene was cool. It was believable in a sense where it was like she outsmarted him. She didn't overpower him, and I really appreciated how they did that. They didn't say, "Hey, we're gonna have her fist fight the Predator and win." So
yeah, but had she been considered a threat from the beginning, she'd already be dead.
That is true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Also, the best actor in the whole movie, the dog. The dog was killing it.
Yeah,
I really thought she was a good actor. She sold me. I thought.
That was not.
I've never seen her in anything else, but I was like, I'll watch her next movie.
Yeah, that was not a dig at any of the other actors because I do think it was
that dog just killed it. Huh?
But the dog, I was like, whoever was in charge of this dog making the faces it's making, wow.
I thought that cougar scene was really cool too. At the very beginning of the movie, wherever they were trying to hunt down the cougar, I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, dang, he took down that guy from that tree so fast. They were both on top of the tree and they were literally on it for like 5 seconds, and then that cougar came and grabbed that guy. I was like, this is so quick.
Yeah, the weapon I was talking about, her hatchet with a rope.
Yeah.
That thing, she wielded that thing like it was Mjolnir. It was coming back to her hand and she was catching it like that. She was throwing it to a tree, catching it like that again. I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. No rope and weapon ever reacted that way in an entire life. And then also, the kills she had with it, spectacular. I was like, this is so cool. It's like the hatchet was like, had the force, Yeah. So she was getting really sweet kills with it, but I'm like, that's bogus. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
That's defying the laws of physics. But
yeah, when I was really watching that, my thought was like, is this a real weapon? Like, is this a thing that has happened in like tribal times or something? Because that is sweet. But
it's so cool. Yeah. No, it doesn't happen because it's bogus.
Yeah, exactly.
Weapons don't work that way.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool enough that I was fine that they put it in there.
Right.
I liked it. Also, the Predator, talking about not knowing his origin story, he feels like a rich kid hunting exotic animals.
Yeah.
He's not really a better hunter than any of these people, but he's got the best gear in the business. His daddy has spent money, and he has a face shield. He's got all the fancy gear. So when he actually finds somebody who's an actual hunter, he gets whooped. He takes damage. This whole movie, he's bleeding all over the place. He's got green goo just flying left and right.
I love that it's bright green blood.
Yes, it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah,
but yeah, all his design is just flawless. Yeah. He's just such a good designed.
The Predator's sound also unmatched when it comes to villains.
Man.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful,
it's iconic.
Beautiful.
He's so good. Yeah, the good outweighed the bad for me. For me, the score of this movie 8.1. Great movie. I would watch it. I wish it was in theaters. I would have definitely loved to see those in the theaters. So
it's a good score, Brett.
What about you? What about you guys?
I'll go first. I gave it a 5.8. And
whoa, dude! You did not say enough negative things. Say some negative things.
Again, it's just not my type of movie. I have this whole long list of movies, and where it lines up in that list of movies is a 5.8.
Wow.
5.8 is not a bad
But give me reasons. You've only agreed with all the cool things we're talking about.
Yeah, the reasons is just I wasn't as entertained.
You just don't want an action movie.
Yeah, action is not my forte.
Okay,
So I can agree that if I'm doing in an action category,
it
it'd
might be
probably be
higher.
like an 8. But in a
Okay,
full movie
full movie.
category, 5.8.
Okay, that makes sense. And
Eight's
you gave
great.
me the top 3 movies, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, Infinity War is a different story. It's an action, but it's not.
Yeah,
Superheroes are different.
yeah, a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a can of worms. What about you, Jacob?
I gave it a 9.2.
Oof.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Insane.
Oof.
You know,
That is insane, bro.
speaking,
That's high.
dude, in my opinion, it's one of the best movies I've seen. That's just me.
Wow.
But
That's
Wow.
crazy.
like,
Best
I
movie
hope the
you've
director's listening to this
well,
podcast.
that's the thing is like Will saying it's not his movie at all. Like that's my cup of tea. Is I really enjoy the build up, the grind, and then it gets into the action, and then you're there, and it has all those amazing scenes that we were talking about, like the bear scene, the fight scene, the coyote attacking him. It goes into those little details, but that's what took things away from me was like the beginning, right? Why couldn't it show him like in a ship coming down onto the earth and figuring out like why they wanted to go to the earth in the first place. Yeah, I gave it a 9.
I think they're just hunters.
Right. I mean, that's why I agree with you too, Brett. It's like they go to different planets and they just hunt, right? So obviously people have seen the other predators and they know that too. Yeah. Overall, this movie was good enough to get into the 9s for me just because I felt like they executed her story, her family's story, Predator's story enough, and the action just really built up for me. It's categorized as an action thriller, and horror in there as well. So I really enjoyed it. Kelly and I sat and watched the whole thing and just in awe of the beauty of the cinematography and everything that it held. I loved it.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad you liked it so much.
Yeah, you
I
do.
wish I liked it.
8.1 is very good.
Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, I did. I very much did. So go watch it if you haven't seen it. If you're into those things. If you're not, give it a 5.8 and just maybe pass. So we made Will watch it. So thanks, Will, for
Yeah,
doing
I
that.
would not have normally just picked that movie. It was okay.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Next time you get to pick the movie. How about that?
All right, fair enough.
You'll kill us, but we'll get some slow period piece or something.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, the last thing I'm going to say about it is I loved talking about the time frame. I love that they picked the Indians, like
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
such good hunters themselves, like to counter this guy who's clearly not an actual hunter. He's just got gadgets. So I thought that was really cool, and just the time period in general is just it's a Cowboys and Indians kind of stuff. I don't watch a lot of that, but when you do it well, I think it's done. Like it's a really fascinating time in history. So, all right, let's move on to our last segment here. We're just doing something random. And Jacob, I'm going to let you take off because me and Will kind of piggyback off each other. So, Jacob, you got something random?
Sure. So, recently the wife and I have been trying to find, a really good show or miniseries to watch. And we found one called Under the Banner of Heaven. It's a real story that happened in the 80s about the Lafferty family, who's a part of the Mormon church in Utah. And Andrew Garfield stars in this. Love Andrew Garfield as an actor. It's about a murder mystery of a family in the Lafferty family anyway that happened, and trying to figure out who did it, right? And Andrew Garfield is the detective on the case, and he's also a Mormon. And so it kind of goes into a little bit more detail on, him being a Mormon, trying to figure out what's happening in a Mormon family, death in the Lafferty group that is involved in the LDS church. And dude, I'm telling you right now, the Mormon church is whoa. Like we could talk hours about that church. Like that's crazy. So I won't go into too much detail, but we just finished it tonight. It was a great miniseries, 7 episodes. I'll give it like an 8.6.
Okay.
Like it was very, very well done. Andrew Garfield really stole the show, and it kind of gave a little bit of a history lesson too on, the Mormon faith and how it came to fruition. Like it's truly, truly crazy. So if you guys want to watch something really good, watch that show. It's on Hulu as well.
Okay, interesting. So my something random is an article from CNN. I'm basically just going to read it verbatim. So just hang with us here. So, crime podcasts are making a difference. Chris Dawson was found guilty on Tuesday of murdering his wife, Lynette Dawson. Though the murder occurred 40 years ago, Chris was only arrested in 2018, shortly after a podcast detailing his alleged crime. That podcast was called The Teacher's Pet, was released and became a global hit. The podcast didn't just bring attention to the case, it helped surface new evidence, according to the police. And every bit of evidence counts in a case where no body, let alone a smoking gun, has ever been found, leaving the judge to rule based on the combined force of all the circumstantial evidence. On the flip side, the judge also said that this podcast might have been swaying too many people's opinions. Mr. Dawson was a professional rugby player in the 1970s before he became a high school teacher, and he said that his wife abandoned her family. Days after her disappearance, Mr. Dawson invited that 16-year-old babysitter whom he met at the high school to move into the family's home, fueling speculation that he'd murdered his wife to be with that young girlfriend. The podcast may be one-sided, and it could have corrupted some of the case's evidence. But to ensure fairness, the trial was initially delayed, and the podcast was taken down in Dawson's home country of Australia after he was charged. Also, his case was decided by a single judge rather than a jury. This isn't the first time a true crime podcast has made a huge difference in a case. In 2020, charges were dropped against an accused murderer, Curtis Flowers, after a key witness recanted his story on In the Dark. And earlier this year, Anand Syed was approved to get new forensic testing after a serial episode explored the fairness of his trial. That is just crazy to me, that people are doing investigative journalism so well that they are getting the law to take notice and change these people's lives. And it's crazy because it's like, how many of these could happen? You know, like if people would just focus on these cases longer, but the justice system, we just don't have time to do that. It is just crazy to me that, our podcast will never make that kind of difference. So we're just idiots talking about sports and games and movies, but that is cool. They're doing work. It's awesome. Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. That's something random.
Yeah. So to piggyback off that, have y'all heard the podcast Serial?
I heard the first season.
Okay. So first season with Adnan Syed is insane, but it's very, I don't remember who the host of that podcast is, what her name is, but it's a podcast and she's trying to get views. So essentially she's saying, did he do it? Did he not do it? Did he do it? Did he not do it? When in reality, she doesn't even cover some of the stuff that was unfair about his trial and his case. If you guys want to, there is a podcast called Crime Junkie, and there is an episode that is titled Infamous, What Serial Didn't Tell You, that was released on April 8th, 2018. And it's 4 things that are in addition of Adnan Syed's innocence. Here's why. Yeah. So it's super cool. It's not by the same person. It's these two. It's Ashley and Brittany, I think their names are. But they cover it. Super cool. Other thing I want to say, these podcasts, it's incredible. I'm huge into crime podcasts. There is this thing, they're calling it the season of justice right now because of genetic genealogy. So this blows my mind. If my dad committed a murder in the 80s and I submitted my DNA to like Ancestry.com, the FBI could then pinpoint that my dad was the murderer of that case.
What?
Yeah, so the Golden State Killer is a serial killer that was in California. I want to say the 70s, but I could be wrong about that. He got away with it until like 2 years ago. And because I think I can't say, don't want you to misquote me, but he was caught essentially because a relative of his had submitted DNA to one of those websites. And that's not even the first one. That's one of many cases that have been closed because of genetic genealogy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you sent your DNA in to be like, hey, who are my ancestors? And you come back, your ancestor murdered a bunch of people. Yeah. So and you knew him. He was your grandpa.
Yeah. So like in the 70s, this guy, the Golden State Killer, had left DNA at a crime scene. And so they had his DNA, but it wasn't in CODIS anywhere, which is like the FBI database. So, but they were able to submit it via Ancestry.com. And because other people had submitted their DNA from his family line, they could pinpoint that he was the killer.
Wow.
So
that is crazy.
That's insane.
It's really cool.
That is a good, just random thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll top that for a while. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining the podcast and filling in. If Ashton's still got the flu next week, you might be pulling a double duties. So just
happy to do it anytime you need.
Hey,
It was
awesome.
dope.
Awesome. Yeah, I think so. I think this is a good
It's a lot
episode.
of
So
fun.
hopefully other people do too. And I guess if y'all will, just subscribe and like and give us 5 stars and tell a friend and do all the things so we can keep doing this. And, it's a good time. And even if y'all don't, just don't give it a bad rating. That's all we ask. Don't give it a bad rating. See you next week, and we'll probably recap, and maybe Ashton will be back to eat some crow. I don't know. So we'll see. All right. See y'all.